That one worked. So now we have to wait to see if people can find us. Oh, sorry, folks. Let's see. Live watching? Watching? Everyone's watching? Cool. Okay, hello everybody. I'm sorry about that. We hit the go live button and YouTube had a bit of a mental breakdown or a hissy fit or something and just wouldn't start for us. So maybe the humidity's got to them too. Hi Veronica, hi Diana. I'm glad you could all join us. Hannah and I were going to do something special tonight, but it didn't work out. So we'll do that on Tuesday because we still need to tweak it, but it's really, really fun. So tonight I thought I had a whole pile of questions that people have sent me. They want answers to, obviously. Now, some of them I've already answered privately. Some of them I haven't. So tonight I'm going to answer those questions as best I can. Now, folks, as always, if you don't like what I say, ignore it. If you're not sure that what I'm saying is going to work for you, ask some more questions or ask someone else, do some more research and make up your mind then. Don't just take, hurts me to say this, but don't just take what I'm telling you to do or what I'm saying I do as gospel that it will work for you, because we're all in different stages in our lives, in our relationships, in our careers, in our cheapskating journey, in our efforts to live a frugal lifestyle. So what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for your best friend or your next door neighbor. So take what I say and do research. If you want to ask more questions, come back to me and ask more questions. That's fine. I'm happy to answer them. Just give me time. But also understand that when I'm saying things and when I'm talking about things, I'm talking from my experience, and I expect each and every one of you to be bright enough to know that you need to tweak it to make it work for you. So I just wanted to say that up front because some of these questions are a tad interesting. Okay. So hi Barb. Hello Kerry. Oh no, Kerry, I hope your daughter's fine. Nothing too serious. Okay. Hi Judy. Alrighty. So the first question, and I'll do this one first because I think this is the one that's going to take the longest to answer because there's so much to get through, comes from Anonymous, because I forgot to copy out. When I copied the question, I forgot to copy the name. I'm so sorry. But it says, I would like to hear about saving for a home of our own. This is something I want to pay attention to. So Miss Hannah over here on my left is saving for a home and doing jolly well at it too, let me say, considering what she's earning and what she's got to work with. But saving for a home is a really good goal. That's a great goal and one that you won't regret. So I'm just going to move my pooter a bit so I can rest my hands and stop waving them around because it's very annoying. Alrighty. Oh, Indo, what happened? Oh, no.
Don't mind them,
Okay. 5 kilos of mince for $42, $7 a kilo. Is that for mince? That's not too bad. That's about $2 cheaper than what we're buying it for at the moment. $6 a kilo for chicken. Australian Butchers has gone up to $6.49 on special. Farmer Joe's in Baronia has it for $4.99 a kilo this week. Or was it last week? Can't remember. So that's not a bad price. $4.99 is cheapest it's been for a very long time. So I did stock up. Okay. All right. So when you want to start saving for a home, the first thing you have to do is stop spending. Stop wasting your money. And that means all your spending. No new clothes, no new shoes, no new car, no fancy holidays, no extravagant gifts, no eating out, no buying lunches or dinners or takeaway, skipping the coffees. You have to be really, really strict with yourself. And there's a couple of good reasons to do this. First of all, you'll have more money to save. But secondly, if you can prove that you have a good savings habit ingrained into you, banks and lending institutions look much more favorably upon you. Now, when you go to your bank, they will want a lot of things from you. There's pages of paperwork to go through and lots of questions to answer. But if you can go to them with a written budget that you are actually sticking to, with a proven savings track record and a proven earnings track record, and it doesn't have to be that you've been in the same job forever. You can still have different jobs. You can have 2 or 3 jobs. It doesn't matter, as long as you have that regular income coming in and they can see that it is regular, it's been proven over a period of time, you are able to do that. Now, I would suggest, this is what we did before we got married and we were saving for our house deposit. We opened a separate bank account and we banked into that. I think we called it our house account, but that's what we banked into. And we had both of us put in the same amount each fortnight, and then any extra we got, so birthday money, money we got for engagement presents went into it, money we got for wedding presents went into it, any extra money we got, any extra money I got by doing overtime went into it. If I sold some of my cooking, that went into it. So any extra money went into that. And we did stop spending. I think the only thing we spent on was once a month we went down to the farm at Wagga to pretty much establish ourselves down there. So we used petrol for that. And then Wayne played indoor cricket once a week. And I think that was $5. That was our spending money. And that's all we spent. We ate really simply. We didn't go out. We had people come to our place. If we wanted to meet friends, they came to us and everyone brought something. Everyone contributed. So that made it easier. Bonus, if you do that, is most of the time they'll leave the leftovers for you. I know that sounds really, really, really scungy, but most of the time they'll leave the leftovers for you, and that's free food. And seriously, folks, if you're really want to save for a house deposit, you need to do all these things. I learned to let my hair grow, so it was even longer than this. Take hems up, put hems down, take clothes in, rearrange, all sorts of things we did so that we didn't have to spend any money. We lived on borrowed furniture. We were lucky that Wayne's uncle was going overseas and renting his house. So we got a lot of his furniture to look after while he was overseas. So we didn't have to buy a lot of furniture when we got married. In fact, we bought a fridge, a washing machine, and our bed. Everything else was borrowed. And we had that for 3 years, which gave us time to save up. So we drove our cars. We didn't, in fact, we sold one car because we each had a car. We sold one. We had the one car and we made do with what we had. We didn't regret it. And I don't think you will either. So we also worked on a written budget. And in that budget, there are a few things that banks and lending institutions really like to see. Obviously, a realistic food budget And if you put down you're on the $300 a month grocery challenge and you put down $300 a month and they query it, you can actually come back if you've done your grocery tracking and show them what you've got. They also like to see some sort of mad money. If your budget is so strict that there's no mad money in there, no money that's just yours to go and blow on, $5 worth of lollipop sticks if that's what you want, then it's almost an impossible to stick to budget. And that's why I like to suggest that everyone includes some mad money, some spending just because money in their budget for them, even if it's just $5 a fortnight or a week, whatever, just a little bit. And that shows it shows maturity, and it shows that your budget is a bit flexible. Also be realistic with your savings goals. Obviously, if you're earning $40,000 a year, you're not going to be able to save $60,000 in a year. It just won't work. So you need to be realistic in your savings goal. We've suggested to Hannah that she have a 20% deposit. Hopefully a 25% deposit would be even better. Again, it shows good savings habits and a good savings track record, but straight away it gives you that much more equity in your home, in what you're buying. So you'll be borrowing less, which is always a good thing, but you've got that built-in buffer if you need it. So sorry, I'm reading the comments too. So furniture from church, yeah, networking. Ask, put it out there. If you need something, ask someone. Someone's bound to know someone have it, or know someone who does, or someone who may have. It'll turn up. Hard rubbish. I'm always scrounging through hard rubbish looking for something. Love hard rubbish. Free cycle, Facebook, your favourite op shop. There's heaps of things you can do. Okay, so I would also think that, where are you? Yeah, setting a realistic time frame for your deposit, to save your deposit, but also, how can I say this diplomatically? I can't. I don't have a diplomatic bone in my body. Don't think that for your first home, you're going to move into a mansion. Because if that's what you think, you're either going to be in so much debt you'll never get out of it, and you'll be working constantly so you won't actually be able to enjoy your home, or really disappointed that you can't do that. Start off small, folks. You've got your whole life ahead of you. So we bought our first home, and it was 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen with a meals area and a lounge room. It was little. It was tiny. It had a great backyard, and it had the most magnificent magnolia tree in the backyard, which is really why we bought the house, because I just fell in love with this magnolia tree. It was gorgeous, but it had everything we needed. So it was on gas. It had air conditioning, which we would not have survived in the Riverina summers without air conditioning. It had gas hot water, gas cooking, gas heating. All the bedrooms had built-in robes. It was an older house, but it had been well looked after. The kitchen was original, so it was a genuine 1955 kitchen, which was just divine. But we made do with that. The curtains were ugly and the carpet was revolting, but we made do with that. And because it got us into the house. And over the 5 years we were there, we were able to paint, renovate. I made new curtains. We extended onto the back of the house, and that's right when disaster struck. This is when we started to do the extension. We made it a much bigger home and a much nicer, more modern home, but we did it in stages as we could afford it. So we started off small. The next house we moved into was still only 3 bedrooms, but we had a family room, we had an ensuite and a bathroom, we had a nice veranda and deck out the back, no garage, but we had a carport. It worked. The house after that wasn't so good. It was an older home, and well, it wasn't so good for me. Wayne and the kids liked it. It worked, and then we came here. Yeah, then we came here, and this isn't a bad house. This house suited us. It was big enough when our children were small for them to have friends over without us falling all over each other. And now that they're older and moving on, everyone has their own space if we need it. So it sort of worked well, but it took us a long time to get here. We didn't get married and move straight into a big house. It took us a long time and a lot of hard work. So we have, Wayne has an uncle who is in real estate, and his advice is you always buy the worst house in the best street if you possibly can, but also to start off small, don't overcapitalise, stay there 5 years with the intention of selling. So your first home you move into with the intention of moving and in 5 years so that you can upgrade, because in that 5 years you should have built some more equity in your home. Hopefully prices will have risen if you're in the market at the moment. Yes, they're starting to rise again, and so you will be better off to buy the next stage. So you're moving up a step, and your next home will be slightly bigger or have the extra bathroom or more land or whatever it is that you want, and you do that in 5-year increments until you get to where you want to stay, till you find your forever home. So it worked for them. All 3 of his boys have all done that, and it's worked for them. We didn't do it quite like that, but what the heck, we don't mind where we are. So it's not our forever home, but we don't mind where we are temporarily. So think about those things, because you can't just pick a suburb and pick a street and go and buy a house. There's a bit more to it. And you also need to research the rates, insurances, things like schools, if you're planning to have a family, if you're planning to work, is there daycare close by? How close are the shops? Are you able to walk to shops? Is there medical, dental facilities close by, or will you have to travel? Public transport, is it close and handy? Are there green spaces? If you're in suburbia, are there green spaces, parks and things where you can let kids run and walk dogs and so on? All those things come into play when you're buying a house. And then once you've chosen your house, you need to think about the things that you want in it, and then are they optional or are they absolutes? For me, an absolute is built-in wardrobes in every room. Cannot stand freestanding wardrobes. They annoy the life out of me. So built-in wardrobes in every room. That's a definite no. Built-in wardrobes, some houses I would never look at. So things like that you need to decide on. All right. Now I'm just reading the comments again. Okay. Hello, Tracy. Welcome. It's Tracy's first time live. Hannah's waving. Okay. So when you start saving for your house, there are just a few things you need to do. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day and you've got the money in your pocket, move to a cash budget. Set up your money purses, so one for fuel, one for groceries, one for fares, if you have fares, whatever. You can go back and watch our money purse video, but set up your money purses, go to a cash budget, go to the bank once a week or once a fortnight or once a month, whenever you get paid, withdraw that cash and don't go back to the bank again. Now, you can set up direct debits for your bills like your gas, your electricity, phone, and so on. But don't forget to include things like insurances, car registration, and CTP, that sort of thing, car repairs, all those things, because they're things that you need to have the money available for. So get your cash out, work your budget out like that, and stick to your cash budget. Lots of people will say that that's the wrong way to do it, and I will say most politely, I disagree. Working with cash makes you very aware of how you spend, what you spend your money on, and where you spend it, and when you spend it. So it also helps you realize that once it's gone, that's it, it's gone. You can't whip out that little card and swipe it and get some more. It's gone. So whilst cash is often thought to be old-fashioned, it's actually a really good way of sticking to your budget and making your budget work. Estelle, car repairs, your car repair budget will depend very much on the age of your vehicle, but you'll need to find out the cost of a service, and they vary across different vehicles. Service, battery, tyres are the three main things. So you should replace your tyres roughly, get 2 years out of tyres maybe, depending on how good they are. Batteries, I work it on a 12-month budget. So I factor in one car service at the mechanics, because Wayne can do oil changes and stuff. If you don't have the ability to do those, you can either learn, you have to pay someone to do it. So you need to put those costs in. So you've got your car services, tyres and battery are the three main things that you need to find out the costs of for your vehicle. You usually have one main service a year. Your battery should last 2 to 3 years, maybe 5. It depends sometimes where you live, how often you drive your car, where it's stored during the day, all plays into the life of your battery, believe it or not, plus the accessories that run off it, and your tyres, and work it out that way. Then Estelle, when you go to get your car serviced, it will be a major service and it might cost a lot. Because even if you think there's nothing wrong and being a second-hand car, it will, depending on its age, it will start to wear out, and things do wear out, and it's only it's common sense to know that they will wear out and they will have to be repaired or replaced. So maintenance, regular maintenance, is much better than a major drama, and often cheaper too. Right, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So pretty much out of all that garbled mess, that's how you start to save. But saying you want to and doing it are two different things. You actually have to make it. Just do it. Just open that bank account, start putting money into it. Don't touch it. Start putting money into it. Work out your budget. Start sticking to it, living by it. Then any extra you get goes into your house savings account, and you'll save up for your house deposit. But yeah, don't think that you will be able to buy a $1 million mansion if you're only earning $40,000 a year, because whilst you might think you can afford it now, if interest rates go up, you may not be able to. So there you go. That's the other thing I want to mention. Calculate your loan repayments at, I think 10% is a really, now that's a very high interest rate, but it has been higher. So calculate your interest repayments at 10%. And if you can afford them, fine. If you can't, find a cheaper property or borrow less money.
10% of what?
Interest on your mortgage.
Okay.
Because then you'll know how much you're paying and you can straight away start paying that amount. You don't have to pay what they tell you. You can pay more, which will save you money in the long run. But it also means that when interest rates start to climb, and they will, you won't be scrabbling to find the extra $25 a month or however much it is, because you're already paying a much higher rate. Again, some people will say that's not the way to do it. I will disagree with them. I would much rather be ahead in my payments than scrabbling when interest rates go up to find the extra money and realising that we can't eat meat anymore because we need that meat money to pay the mortgage. And then when the mortgage goes up again, what are you going to cut out that time to fit the increase? Because wages won't go up as well.
How long should a mortgage be?
The shorter, the better. Okay, so 20 to 25 years is not too bad. If you take it, the longer your mortgage is,
The more interest.
the more interest, but the less your monthly payments will be because you're stretching it out. But 20,
debt.
You shouldn't have debt, that's right. 20 years, take it out for 20 years, pay it off in 10, home and host. And of course, once you own your property and you own it outright, it's yours. Nobody can take it away from you. It is yours. So if you lose your job, you don't have to worry about the mortgage payment. If you get sick, you don't have to worry about the mortgage repayment. You'll always have a roof over your head. Okay. Now, yeah, Estelle, you need to ask around, find out who has a good mechanic that they trust and give them a ring. Ask them what their fees are. Ask them how much they charge per hour. Ask them whether they use original replacement parts or generic replacement parts, or do they give you the option? Ask them if they give you the parts that they've replaced back. So that they say if they've replaced the radiator, they'll put the new radiator in. Do they give you the old radiator back so that you can actually see that there is something wrong with it? I don't know. Yeah. Alrighty. So moving on. And their mortgages are much lower in America.
And so are their deposits.
And their deposits, yeah. And that actually, the lower deposit scheme, and it's happened here too, but the lower deposit schemes meant a lot of people moved into homes that they never had a hope of owning. And some of them were there for 10, 12 years and ended up losing those homes anyway. So it was never going to work. If you are going to a bank, the bank will calculate, and it's a bit sneaky, it used to be 23% of your gross income they would allow you to have as a mortgage payment. So that seems quite reasonable, because then you've still got 77% to live on, but you don't actually, because you don't have 77% of your gross income to live on, because your tax will be taken out of that. So
I didn't know.
Yeah, because it's gross, so it's before tax income.
So I was like, that's less than $1,000 a month.
Yeah, so it changes all the time. It will depend whether you go through a bank or whether you go through a mortgage broker, how you work out your mortgage, how you get your loan, where you buy, your age will come into it. So, yeah. Well done, Estelle. Yeah, aiming to pay it off in 7 years. 15 years. Yeah, well, I said 20 years paid off in 10. So there we go. Okay. Now I've got everyone totally confused and thinking they'll never be able to afford to buy a house. Yes, you will. You just need to stop spending money and start saving it.
Just live at home till you're 35.
Crikey. Okay. Now, where to find good deals?
Oh, we're good at that.
Well, we are good at that, but it depends what you want a good deal on.
I follow the meat man at Coles.
It really depends what you want a good deal on. So on furnishings or on clothing, on household items, there's a whole heap of things, whole heap of places you can research for deals, but it really, really does depend on what you're looking for. Often your local department stores, we've got Harris Scarf locally, will have great deals on homewares, and they're brand name homewares. So they often have them for really, really good prices. If you're looking for something specific, check out your local department store when they're on sale. Otherwise, you can try factory outlets. Now, I'm not a fan of things like DFO, Brand Smart, because whilst they claim to be factory outlets, they're really just dirty, dodgy retail stores. Honestly, dirty, dodgy retail. And often the stuff that you are getting is the same price as if you were to go to a department store. So you really need to know your prices. It's also sometimes not as nice because it might be the same price as your department store, but it might be marked or whatever. So you really need to be, I'm not a fan of those places. You need to know, again, your prices on what you're looking for. Now, I had a few years ago, so it must be 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I decided that after 25 years of marriage, the saucepans that we got for a wedding present, Wayne had glued the handles on a few times and the knobs were missing, and one of them was really wonky because it had been banged a few times. And so I thought, I'll go and buy myself some new saucepans. Oh my goodness. Because I'd never looked at saucepans since then. And oh my goodness, there are so many brands out there and so many who knew there were so many different types of pots and pans? I didn't. So I actually did some research and I found an outlet store, and they do sell at really rock bottom prices, but they will tell you they are seconds or they're end of runs, they are returns. They are not first quality that I would have bought from David Jones or Myer or House or somewhere like that. But I still was able to get my spiffy new saucepan set that had absolutely everything I wanted, including a double boiler, because I'd never had one. It was so good, and gets used a lot. For I paid $185 for the whole set, and it was retailing at that time. It was retailing for $898. Now, it was $185 because one of the pots didn't have a lid, and the box was really, really dirty and bashed. You know what? The pot that didn't have a lid, I don't use it with a lid anyway. So it's a big saute pan. I don't use it with a lid. So it didn't worry me to not have a lid for it. So I was happy to do that. I saved a fortune by doing that. So for deals like that, look around. But if you're looking for deals on, for instance, meat or chicken, I would suggest that you sign up to as many newsletters as you can. So in Melbourne, we've got Steggles, we have Tasman Meats, we have Australian Butcher, there's Farmer Joe's, there's Kilsyth Bargain Meats, there's Knox Bargain Meats, there's Budget Butchers in Scores, there's a whole heap of them that all have websites, that all have newsletters. They all advertise on Facebook, so you can follow them and find out when you're going to get a really good deal on your meat. And it might be that this week mince is on sale, so just go and buy mince. Next week they might have the corned beef on sale, so that's when you buy the corned beef. Wait until it's on sale to buy it. Takes a bit of jiggling around in your freezer, but you could do it, and you won't ever pay full retail price if you do that. The other thing you can do is haunt the markdown lady, man, whatever, at your local supermarket. We know that on Sundays at our local Coles, Sunday afternoon between 2:30 and 3, they mark down the meat. That's a really good time to go, because they just go along with their sticker and their texter, and whatever's there just gets marked down. They don't do that, only the meat department at that time though. They do the dairy department at another time on another day. Fruit and veg is just about every day. So find out and pick up your markdowns then. Bakery items are often marked down in the mornings, about mid-morning on a Thursday for bakery items at that Coles. It works. If you can go then you can pick up those deals. Well, our first house, Edwin and Jocelyn, our first house cost $78,000.
Oh.
And the interest rate was 18%.
Oh.
Nearly killed us. Nearly killed us.
It's killing for a house like that now, though.
It was a nice house by the time we left. Right. I used to use a pot. I had a pudding basin that sat over the top of the saucepan. Sometimes it wasn't big enough for what I was doing. So now I have a double boiler and it works really well. Right, okay. All right, so again, look, for your deals, I don't know, unless I know what the deal is that you're looking for, hard to say. I used to be able to go to places like Clark's Shoes for the kids' shoes. They don't exist anymore. Sheridan and Actal Sheets, I used to be able to buy them direct from the factory, but they don't exist anymore. So a lot of our things have moved offshore, so they don't exist. So it's really hard to find your deals. If you're looking for white goods, as in fridges, freezers, washing machines, dryers, microwaves, vacuum cleaners, TVs, whatever.
Range hood.
A range hood. Find the Good Guys or John Allen or someone like that. Go in and have a look and ask them if they're selling their display stock. You will save hundreds if you can get them to sell you their display stock. And if they're not selling it right then and you can wait, ask them to let you know when they are swapping it out, and save a fortune. I just saved close to $1,000 on the 2 ovens and range hood by doing just that.
And we paid cash.
And we paid cash, yep, which was really good. So things like that. Although there's appliances online, there's Hannah says don't go to appliances online. Why not?
They're terrible to deal with.
They're terrible to deal with. Okay, so don't go to appliances online.
Harvey Norman, if you can find one.
If you can find a Harvey Norman, best thing with Harvey Norman
JB
is
Hi-Fi Home.
Best thing with Harvey Norman and JB Hi-Fi Home is another good one, is you can haggle with them. You can make them an offer. They can only say no, and if they do, then you can negotiate and haggle to get a better deal. Scratch and dent, yeah. That's what I was saying with who did I just say that you didn't like? Appliances online and things like that. The other thing is auctions, Grays online. Again, you need to know your prices. You need to know your delivery costs. You need to be prepared to miss out or haggle a bit with them. So they all work too. Of course, if you're looking for things like holidays or whatever, there's Groupon, there's, it's gone out of my mind. What's the other one that does vouchers for things like that? Groupon and...
Catch of the Day? No.
No, not Catch of the Day. Don't like Catch of the Day.
I don't know.
But there's a lot around. So depending on what you want, research it.
Do it too. Flybys have travel.
Flybys have travel, but you can't haggle with them. Negotiate.
But they're good deals.
So yes. So that was that question. Now the next question is Costco worth it? Whole can of worms, isn't it? Depends. And especially now that they're moving to online.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Costco are moving to online. You still have to have your membership, and your online prices will be more expensive.
Oh.
But you will get free delivery.
Oh.
Which is why the online prices are more expensive. Supposedly, I haven't seen all the details yet. I'm yet to see all the details. So, is Costco worth it? Costco costs you $60 a year for your membership. You do need to know your prices, and if you only buy brand name things, then sometimes they're cheaper at Costco. You need to be prepared to buy in bulk. And it's my type of bulk. It's not, 2 kilos of sausages, because that's not bulk. Bulk is 20 kilos of sausages. So it's that sort of thing. You need to be prepared to do that. Now, if you've got someone you can share it with, or you have the room to store it, maybe. You also need to be aware that a lot of their products, whilst the packaging may look identical to what you see in your regular supermarket, the sizes will be slightly different. So knowing your unit price is really important before you go to anywhere, but especially to somewhere like Costco. They don't always have all the grocery lines that you would probably find at your supermarket. A lot of it is seasonal. A lot of it is imported. And a lot of it is their own Kirkland brand. So I haven't had a problem with anything I've tried from Kirkland, but it again depends very much on whether you're brand loyal or whether you're happy to shop around, switch around, and buy generic when you can. So if I was doing it on a personal level, I don't think Costco would be worth it for us as a family. We just don't buy enough of
what they sell.
Their meat's really expensive, and it might be nice, but it's really expensive, folks. Their cakes are really expensive. What else do I find expensive there? Fruit and vegetables. I'm blessed with Pellegrino's just down the road, so I find fruit and veg at Costco very expensive. And again, not many people want to buy 5 kilos of sweet potatoes. Doesn't worry me because I just grate it up and freeze it, but it's a lot. So if you're buying from there and you're buying in bulk, you need to either be able to use it up, preserve it, or share it, because otherwise, if it just goes off, you're throwing your money in the bin.
They're good for bulk zip ties.
That are good for bulk zip ties, yes. Okay, if you know who anyone who would be willing to share this staff discount, those are very cool. So I don't know anyone that works at JB Hi-Fi.
Get it through work.
Do you? No. Okay, so there you go, folks. Some questions that have been asked. Hopefully I've answered some of them. I don't know whether it's helpful or not. I honestly don't know. And again, it's just me talking to the camera. But honestly, if you want to save for a house, start a bank account, get a budget, start saving. Just do it. It won't happen overnight. It's any savings. You have to build it up. Do it bit by bit by bit by bit, step by step. And it will add up in time, and you will eventually get there. Where to get the best deals depends what you want, where you live, how much you're prepared to pay. Are you prepared to haggle? But they're around if you want them. And is Costco worth it? Yeah, it's for a personal level for us. No, it's not. I bought flour there this year, but by the time you add in the $60 membership, and then it was only 4 cents a kilo cheaper than Aldi. So that's a heck of a lot of flour to have to buy to recoup the membership. Yeah, Costco, everything's supersized. It's just the trolleys are huge. The warehouses are huge. Everything's big to play mind games with you, pretty much. Play mind games with you. Everything's huge because big is better. Big is better. Bulk is cheaper. No, it's not. Bulk doesn't mean cheaper, folks. Bulk just means bigger and more. It doesn't mean cheaper. So if you're going to shop there or shop anywhere in bulk, you need to get over that bulk is cheaper and actually know your prices. So there you go. I think I'm finished for tonight. I've talked a lot. It's really hot and humid here in Melbourne tonight. It's going to be hot and humid for the whole weekend, I think. Bit of luck, we'll get some rain and thunderstorms tomorrow. Water the garden for me. Oh. I have something to show you. Give me one moment. I'm just going to zip away. I'll be right back. Here I come. Do you recall I said I counted the tomatoes and there were 306 and they were all green? Well, now there's 305 because I picked my first one yesterday. Isn't it beautiful? It's not quite ripe. Oh, look at the size of him. He is huge. They're all like this. I don't know what I did to the tomatoes this year, but my goodness, he's heavy. Oh, yeah, he's really heavy. So how cool is that? So now there's 305 others like that outside. You thinking sauce? I'm thinking, I hope the weather cools down so I can make sauce, because otherwise I'll be just melting in the kitchen.
Can I have to get another pot?
Yeah. How cool is that? I thought I'd show you our first tomato. He even smells like a tomato. I actually think these might be, I think I might have got seeds mixed up. These might be mortgage lifters. I might have got the seeds mixed up.
Tomatoes, tomato to me.
Tomatoes, tomato, yeah. So there you go. Okay. Estelle, if you know someone that has a membership, they can take a guest in. So go with them, have a look around, check your prices. But seriously, if you know your sales cycles and you have a Coles, a Woolies, and Aldi and IGA close by, you will get what you need at either the same price or often less without a Costco membership. So there you go. Alrighty, folks. I shall say good night. I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. Please, underneath there is the thumbs up. That would be nice. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That would also be nice. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, my first tomato bar. It's just beautiful. Yum. All right, I'm saving it for salad. Okay, folks, good night. I'll see you all on Tuesday.